The WNBA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. You can win up to 325 times your entry with their new Pick 8. Sign up with promo code NBASGPN. That is NBASGPN to claim your special pick and first-time deposit offer up to $250 in bonus cash. We're also brought to you by UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code NBASGPN. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Get the best data-driven props and picks from Rhythm. Claim your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM Rhythm. Yes, sir. We're back with another edition of the WNBA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. No me, no the voice, no the guy. It's me, really raw. Terrell Furman Jr. here at your service. Wow, I keep losing it on this. Why do I keep losing on this one, but not the other one? All right. If you're head over heels because Caitlin Clark didn't make the Olympic team, then you clearly don't listen to this show, and you probably lost a lot of money betting her points prop. Yeah, that's all I got on that. But there is a sound drop that is very much warranted for me on this show, as soon as I can find it. Yeah. You hear that? That's the sound of a sweep. That's how you bounce back. Last night I took a L, but tonight I bounced back. Words of Big Sean in his cornier days, but still the words of the great Big Sean. Because look, I'm telling you, I mean, it's just when it's going on, it's going on. And now that I lost another one, and it kind of felt like it came back, but then it came back again. I feel like I could speak on it. 15-2 on my locks this season, guys. 88%. I don't know what to tell you. Why are you not subscribed? Shout out to Southwest Low in the chat. Just subscribe to the show. Keep up the work, good fellas. Appreciate it. Why are you not like Southwest Low? Why are you not subscribed? I mean, I don't know what to tell you. And then not to mention that I am 15-1, but my co-host also gave you another lock hit on the last episode as well. Scott Studio Reichel. Scott, what's going on?
Scotty, beam me up.
Surprise.
Yeah, a bit of a sweat, but we got there. I had the Brink under 14.5 points in rebounds. Think it closed 13.5, and she finished with 14. So apologies if you got there late, but it ended up getting there. Brink, not exactly known for offense, but damn, she's really good at defense. She's going to probably win a Defensive Player of the Year or two. She's really good, but yeah, offensively, she just doesn't have it. She's a rookie. She'll figure it out, but she had her hands full with Asia, and Asia was solid in the game, but she had to spend a lot of energy, was in foul trouble, also just didn't shoot well. So got it there, and then somehow we ended up losing on Cloud Assists, who had 7, and the game went to double overtime. So I don't know how she only had 7 in a double overtime game, but that's what happened. So we swung for the fences, didn't get it, but at least the lock got there. So it could have been worse.
And I swept the board. We had the under in the, what was that? That was the Storm Lynx under, wasn't it? Pretty sure. Yeah. Storm Lynx under, that came through. I mean, the locks are just coming in full force. I forget which one is which. And then it took double overtime for me to finally hit a dog, but there we go. Double overtime, Mercury -5 cashes. I mean, by the skin of the teeth too. It was, what a sweat. I have the appreciation for the sweat. Like the appreciation of the sweat that they gave me in that game, because for a long point of that game, I think the Mercury's biggest lead was 3 and the Wings' biggest lead was 5. For a good, I want to say at least 4 quarters, that was the biggest lead. So absolutely back and forth game. It was great. It was a great time. A very, very good time here. But we're going to talk about the games that are actually being played tomorrow. First, I got to talk to you about one of our new podcasts in the SGPN network, and that is the Daily Dog. 10-minute episodes dropping Monday through Friday, where the Daily Dog gives you underdog picks, like the best underdog picks. It doesn't matter. They make an underdog lineup. And so go ahead and tap in. Make sure you get the Daily Dog wherever you get your podcast. Also, Circa announced they're giving away $16 million guaranteed prizes for Circa Survivor and Circa Million. Sign up in Vegas and play anywhere with footballcontestproxy.com. Promo code SGP to get $50 off. That is footballproxy.com. Promo code SGP. Footballcontestproxy.com. I'm sorry. Footballcontestproxy.com. Promo code SGP. All right, Scott. We've got another 4 games on. Is it 4? 3. 3 games. I'm sorry. 3 games on the slate for a Tuesday in the Women's National Basketball Association. We have the Washington Mystics on the road, 7:30 on the East Coast, going to play the Atlanta Dream. Opened up Atlanta laying 7.5. Totals at 156.5. Injury report, and this one is important for Washington because it's been a while since we've seen this. Brittany Sykes has been listed as probable to play in the game tomorrow. That is her best injury upgrade since game 2 when she went out with that ankle injury. Shakira Austin is listed as questionable. Jordan Canada is listed as questionable. I see here. Is she questionable or is she out? She might be out. Hold on. I think she's actually out. Yeah, Jordan Canada's listed as out. So Jordan Canada is still listed as out, but we do have Shakira Austin, who is questionable. Brittany Sykes, who is probable. Well, I'm gonna tell you right now, what's one play I'm placing, and I'm not even gonna think about it, and I'm 100% playing that Mystics first half. And it's not in the question here. It was always Mystics first half. We almost got Mystics first half Liberty money line in that last game, Scott. By the way, tied at half.
Yeah, I was gonna say by 1 point or so.
Yeah, it was tied at half, but I mean, it was 8.5 points. I mean, we was cooling on the spread, but we almost got the money line, and then we would have got the money line and the Liberty outright at the end. So, I mean, it's for me. This is what I was waiting on because are the Mystics not the best 0-12 team you've ever seen in your life?
I can't remember
Like, name one.
I can't remember the last time I've seen an 0-12 team in the WNBA. So,
I mean, not even just like period. No level of sports has an 0-12 team look this good. They're literally losing every game by
numbers. Yeah, but every game's close, basically.
Every game's close.
They covered most of the time. I don't have their ATS numbers, but it's got to be above 500, despite them being 0-12.
I have it right here. The Washington Mystics are 6-5-1.
I mean, that's pretty good.
6-5-1. They are 4-2-1 on the road. When you talk about the first half, it only gets better. I mean, the real issue here is the scoring in the second half, and now you have Brittany Sykes and Shakira Austin to help with that because Shakira Austin can go out there and get a bucket, even though she's a big, we know her for defense, but she's still able to score. Brittany Sykes actually initiates this offense, and I think that actually shores up the depth in this bench a little bit more because now Van Loo moves back to the bench. She can help keep the offense going with that second unit. I mean, it's Mystics here for me. I'm just. If you're giving me over 2 possessions with the Mystics, I'm probably just going to blindly take them at this point. They constantly play 1 possession games, 1-2 possession games. Mystics plus 7.5. It's really nothing to talk about for me.
I think I'm going to agree with you. I prefer the first half. Well, it is worth mentioning they faced off earlier this year in late May in Washington, and the Dream did win by 6. Sykes did not play in that game. Austin did. Austin actually had 12-9 in that game. But I think Sykes coming back is going to help, and I think you're looking at Tina Charles, who had 17 and 15. I'm not sure she's going to do that again, but they did a very good job defending Ryan Howard, who ended up going 2 of 11 in that game. So maybe Washington can potentially slow down the backcourt to some degree. Alicia Gray, though, was 7 of 9. So I don't expect that to happen again. But in reality, I think the Mystics might be live to make this game very competitive. I'm not saying they're going to win, but if they're going to be competitive for at least a half, then I do think that their value definitely makes sense to consider the dog here. So I'm going to go with the Mystics with you, but I prefer the first half.
All right. Totals at 156.5. I think the Mystics are winning and covering. I think it's going over. I mean, not over, it's under.
I was going to say under is where I would go. The first meeting landed 140, so I'm just going to lean under on this one.
Yeah, I mean, the Mystics play well defensively. Atlanta actually, you know, they I mean, it's Tanisha Wright, and Tanisha Wright always employs defense. Do they always do it? Absolutely not. But they make an attempt. So, and plus the Mystics are just anemic to score in the basketball. Now, do I think it's going to be a little bit better with Brittany Sykes and Shakira Austin? Yes, but do I think it's all world? No, not at all. So, yeah, under 156.5 here. Rather easy.
Also the dream, by the way. I mean, we're talking about how the Mystics are bad offensively. I'm going to throw out there that, do you know which team has the second lowest points per game in the league?
The Dream?
That is correct. So you got
that's actually shocking
in the league. So
they
that's
can't
the
figure it out.
Part, but
yeah, this actually feels really, really good.
Sean's popping in to talk about the Caitlin Clark airball. If you want to talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, she airballed, and you know, I mean, she wanted to be. How are you want to be? First of all, it's not that she just airballed a three, because people airball threes, but she airballed from inside the free throw line, like a little floater, and just airballed it. And yet she wants to be on the Olympic team. How dare you? How dare you?
That 3-pointer was very Derrick Jones game 2-ish. You know, Derrick Jones Jr. game 2-ish. But
I'm actually frustrated at the fact of like how many people pretty much like they're like, oh yeah, she should have been on the Olympic team. She should have been on. Dog, I could sit here like easily and name 15 better players than Caitlin Clark right now.
Well, if you want to go back, there's been serious political reasons for players being skipped over. The Candace Parker one back in the day with Gino.
Candace Parker won Rookie of the Year and MVP in the same goddamn season. In the same
Gino
season.
didn't take her. Gino didn't take her.
In the same fucking. Honestly, the fact that's how you know it's political, because Breanna Stewart should have never made it as a rookie. And if I was leading the Caitlin Clark discourse, I would use that example, because there's no reason that Candace Parker, who won MVP and Rookie of the Year in the same season, did not make an Olympic team. Like, at the end of the day, nobody deserves to make it if she doesn't deserve to make it.
And once again, who was Breanna Stewart's college coach? The head coach of the U.S. national team back then? Yeah, okay. He used to stack the rosters for UConn players. So Candace Parker getting snubbed an all-timer. You can argue that Caitlin could have made it because it would have created more viewership, but you're drafting a team. You're drafting a team.
It was like 7 million viewers in the final last year. Like, what other exposure do they need?
I was like, that would be the argument for Caitlin, but just taking a rookie for the sake of her being a rookie, there are more.
And it wouldn't have been any better, because guess what? As soon as she makes the team, Skylar Diggins-Smith played 1 minute in the Olympic final last year.
Is that not last year, but last? That's like Leitner making the dream team. Like, all right, you're just gonna sit
like
on the bench
she's literally gonna sit on the bench. She might play 10 minutes in one game total.
But check her in when they're up 40 in like every other game, but she's going to be playing garbage time.
She's not playing. Yeah, she's not playing any meaningful minutes, and so people are just going to get frustrated, and then they're going to say, "This is why the women's game aren't growing." No, actually, you're actually not fans of women basketball at all. You're just Caitlin Clark fans, and that's perfectly fine. You can be just a Caitlin Clark fan, but you don't like masquerade like you're doing it for the women's game. You're not. We're not doing it for the women's game. We're just trying to make money. Well, I mean, I'm doing it for the women's game, but everybody here is not trying to do it for the women's game. They're just trying to make money. Like, understand your thing. You just like Caitlin Clark. That's fine. We like making money. There's different reasons to support the league. You support it for her. We support it for money. Other people support it for watching the game overall. Like,
and for the record, it doesn't actually matter what your reason is. The fact is, you are contributing to the cause of actually watching the league. So that's really all that matters.
Yeah, but I just Lord, don't let that girl get injured, because when all the people fall off by the wayside and then we just cash on all the props because nobody's betting anymore. Oh man. I mean, because when Sabrina went out, talk about sick. I was in mourning. When Sabrina got her. I was in mourning. Yo, the Liberty just went back down into the toilet, yo. Even though they weren't going to be that good, but they
made the playoffs that year, though. Despite being 8 under, they made the playoffs somehow that year.
I know. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad we're in better days for the New York Liberty. Not great days, but better days. All right. Thanks, Sean, for getting us off topic. We're back here. Player props. That first of all, I really, really like that under, by the way. Just so you know, I really, really like that under.
The Dream are randomly not a good offensive team this year. They were good last game against Chicago, but we're used to the Dream walking into like 85 every game, and this year they just can't score. So
I'm very much, and they just got to win against Chicago. I'm very much tempted to lock up that under. That's in consideration. All right, back to player props. What do you like?
So for player props, if I'm going to go with unders on this one, I'm staying away from Dolson. Nope, she won. She beat me. I can't go against her. I can't back her. I can't fade her. I'm good. I'm done on Dolson. I tried. I know you're probably gonna take Atkins because she's due. I do like Aaliyah. I mean, I like the Lee Edwards rebounds, but assuming Austin plays now, that would be definitely impactful to her stat line.
I mean, come on, it's at 6.5. There's enough misses to go around.
I hope so. I'm also wondering if Austin's on a minute count there. So yeah, I'll go with the over for Edwards rebounds there. I am thinking if I want to go for actually a Ryan Howard under, because her points have actually been underwhelming recently. Her numbers at 14.5. I said before she did nothing in the first game this season, had 11 against the Mystics. She's had less than 12 points in 3 straight games. So yeah, I might go back to Ryan Howard under. I think 14.5 might be too many. I know she's got talent, she can get to 20, but recently she's been slumping. So I'll back the slump.
Yeah, I'm hammering the over. I'm laddering Aaliyah Edwards. I mean, I'm sorry. She's just been so good. And think about the competition that she's been playing. Like, we're talking about Shakira Austin coming back. And yeah, but still, she's gone up against a lot of bigs. 9 against Chicago. 9 against Connecticut, 14 against Chicago, 12 against Indiana. So she went up against Alyssa Thomas, Brianna Jones, Angel Reese, some combination of Angel Reese, Elizabeth Williams, Camila Cardosa, Aaliyah Boston. Like, she's just gonna get the boards, and she didn't get that 6 in the last game against the Liberty, but there was points and points and points and points galore in that game. Absolutely, I'm on Aaliyah Edwards to have another good game on the boards. 6.5 is way too short, even with Shakira Austin coming back. So yeah, I'm backing Aaliyah Edwards. What else? I am.
Do you want to go for Alicia?
I don't know. I mean, she's been hot. Yeah. I mean, she's been just quietly going over her prop. Like, it's been at 15.5 for a good little while. She's at 14 at last game against Chicago, but she had 16, 24, 19. Like, she's been, a little bit of off games, but rather consistent, and she bounces back pretty well. So I actually might go with Alicia right here to be able to score. I think somebody's going to score.
Yeah. And I don't like the form Ryan Howard's in, so that's why I might go elsewhere.
All right. And Sykes assist. I don't know if I have a line for that though yet. Let's see. They might be scared to put out something on Brittany Sykes already.
See any lines for.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Whenever it drops, I'm playing Sykes assist. That's actually. I told myself that. Yeah.
I'm looking at the actual props for Cheyenne out of curiosity. Did she get married over the last week?
Yeah, no. Over the summer. All season her name has been this.
I did not see Tyus the entire time. I did not realize. Okay,
over the summer
I thought that was a new week thing. I didn't notice.
Nah, she's been Cheyenne Parker Thomas for the entire season.
I did not notice. My bad. I just noticed the hype in there. I didn't realize.
No,
like
it's
Lainey
all
Hamilton,
good.
I knew immediately.
I was about to say, did you know Benaja Lady got married? I was
Lainey
just
Hamilton,
about to ask you that.
I didn't know. I didn't notice.
Did you know Skylar Diggins Smith got married?
That one I knew. I'm sure a lot of guys out there were devastated that she got married, but that was a couple years ago.
Oh my gosh, I'll never. It was a while ago.
People were mourning back then. That was a rough.
I was mourning. I was in mourning. I tell you, I was. I still hate him to this day. I'm not even gonna lie. Still hate him to this day.
I don't even know who he is.
I don't know who he is either, but I don't care. Here we go. Pick 8 is now live in Underdog Fantasy, and you can go and create an Underdog lineup with up to 8 picks, not flicks, picks. And then Underdog will automatically double flex the entry, so you can miss up to 2 and still win your entry. Best part is that you can win up to 325 times your original amount. We're going to drop an Underdog lineup at the end of the show, so make sure you tap in with promo code NBA SGPN. That's promo code NBA SGPN to claim that special pick and first time deposit offer up to $250 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com. Promo code NBA SGPN. Here we go, Scott. Game 2. LA coming off of a win against the Aces. We didn't talk about that at the top of the show because, the Kate McCart discourse rules everything right now. But what a good win. Talk about a way to end a homestand after you're about to go on 7 games on the road, to get a win against the Wings, and then to go and get a win as double-digit underdogs against the Aces. Absolutely. Shout out to Kurt Miller, man. Shout out to Kurt Miller and getting that team playing well. And the rookies, Cam Brink and Rickea Jackson, both. Rickea Jackson had 16, man. Like, they both look really, really good. So here we are. LA going up against Seattle after that game. Seattle's laying 11 here. 159 is the total injury report for these two teams. And I see Azare Stevens is the only listed player on both sides for the Sparks. That is it. I will go ahead and tell you right now that I don't think that the Sparks have anything at all for the Seattle defense. At all.
Okay.
I don't think they have anything for them. Like, I think any type of movement and traction that they got was just a product of the Aces not being able to play defense. And Seattle's going to remind you of what a top 4 defense looks like in the WNBA right now. I mean,
And
there's no, and they're off a loss. And this is still a Commissioner's Cup game where, guess what? Guess what, Scott? If we go peek over at the Commissioner Cup standings, you have the Phoenix Mercury on top of the standings. And
that's wild, by the way. The Mercury are on top of the standings.
Hey, man, I told you when they're healthy, they're going to be good.
There's multiple games to go, but still, the Mercury being at the top right now is pretty funny.
I told you when they're healthy, they're going to be good. And here they are, 3-1 at the top of the standings. Minnesota is right behind them, tied at 3-1, but Phoenix does own the tiebreaker, and Seattle is right there at 2-1. Now, here's the interesting part about that. Phoenix and Minnesota's last game in the Commissioner Cup against the Aces. We'll talk about the Lynx and the Aces game later, but Phoenix does have a date with the Aces before they call it quits on the Commissioner's Cup. And Seattle, they get the Sparks and the Wings. So there's a possibility that Seattle, despite losing to Minnesota again,
0-3,
they end up still going to the Commissioner's Cup final, because there's a possibility that the Aces could beat Minnesota and Phoenix. Like, there's a possibility that happens. And if that happens, that opens the door for Seattle. So there's a lot to play for here. I think they're going to run the score.
I do want to start off, though, asking about the game we saw with the Sparks against the Aces, because the Aces were missing some players. Gray, we already knew. Jackie was ruled out, so it wasn't the full starting lineup. But based on everything with all the injuries and what they were dealing with, scale of 1 to 10, 10 being insane win, 1 being not impressed at all, what would you give that Sparks win? I give it an 8.
About a 7.
Okay. Point is, though, it's a solid win, but I think we do know that they were a bit fortunate.
No, they deserve credit. They 100%, like, even with the injuries, they 100% deserve credit for
Jackie being out was also a big deal. Just going to throw that out.
They had no point guard. They had no point guard. Like, you had Kelsey Plum going out there playing point guard, and I mean, the offense.
I'm not trying to rain on their parade.
Defense.
I'm just throwing it out there that they had a pretty good spot to get the Aces, since the Aces were definitely vulnerable to get got. That's kind of the point I'm trying to say. So I do think the Storm are going to bounce back and win this game. 10.5, though, I don't know if that's too many.
Bro, they have nothing for them offensively.
My concern is, are the Sparks going to be so, I don't want to say hungover, but are they just going to be celebrating that the Ace is upset? They might just be really not ready to back up that performance.
I want no part in calling this a letdown spot. This is 100% the Seattle Storm just reminding you that they're one of the top teams in the league, because now, like, this is a free-flowing offense. This offense is going to continue to move. They're going to go up and down the floor. They're going to be able to score. They can play in ISO. They can play fast. They can play slow. They play with good defense. They can play in transition because they create turnovers. Like, this is just an offense that can put up points. And, I mean, you have Skylar Diggins-Smith, Jewel Lloyd, and Nneka Ogwumike leading the way. And so I just really question what answers the Sparks are going to have for any Storm run. Like, I think the Storm are going to go on runs, and the Sparks are not going to be able to go on runs on their own because the Storm defense is so good. I think we should take this to 19.5.
I also realized, by the way, that I accidentally had the wrong team listed as the home team. The Storm are at home for this game. So
yes.
Wanted to mention that they are 3-1 at home. The Sparks are 1-3 on the road, so that actually does matter. I'm going to agree with you. I thought it was 10.5 in LA, and that kind of scared me off, but apparently it was not. So I'll agree with you about Seattle. Seattle being good at home. The Storm are a team that we know can be very, very elite defensively, as you said before. And even though Brink, I think, is a solid defensive player, the Sparks' perimeter defense is not very good. Just watching them play. But I think after getting blown out against the Lynx, they'll be hungry for a bounce back. The Storm so far this season have won each of their last 2 home games by at least 18 points. And the Sparks, I said before, are 1-3 on the road. I'm going to agree with you. Give me the Storm at home minus the 10.5. I like the under in the game, though.
Yeah, I like the under in the game because I don't think that Actually, I don't know. I don't know. That's kind of low. And
Sparks team.
I don't know because Seattle could win this. If Seattle won this 100-69, would you be surprised?
I think 100 would be a bit surprising, but I get where you're going. Like
they put up 100. They put up 100 twice this season already.
Yeah, I understand. So you want Sparks team total under, basically, in theory.
Yeah, I would play Sparks team total under. Just give me Seattle team total or Seattle team total over. Like just split it up and give me the team totals. I'd rather split my unit up that I would have put on one side of either the over or the under, and just take both team totals. One Sparks to go under and the Storm to go over, because I think this is going to be similar to that Fever game, to that Mystics game, where the offense just doesn't stop. It just doesn't stop and it keeps going. So yeah, that's how I play it. That's how I would play it total.
Yeah, I see the Sparks are at 74.5 for the team total.
Absolutely. I think 70 is about a reasonable. I think that's a reasonable amount of production for them. All right, player props. This is the revenge game, so we have to take NECA everything.
Yep, it's fair.
She's going to kill this team.
Even though I can see Jewel having a good game too. I can see everybody having a good game.
I wouldn't be surprised if this is a 20-20-20. Everybody had 20. Skylar Diggins Smith, because I think she's going to get going from 3. I would actually play her 3s prop. I don't know if they have it listed. They don't have it listed. They're scared. I would play her 3s. I think she's going to shoot 3s today. And
if you want points,
on the outside.
If you wanted to go for points, NECA's at 17.5, Lloyd's at 21.5, and Diggins Smith is at 15.5.
I really think the Sparks are going to look up at the scoreboard and be like, damn, we're getting cooked. I think offensively, Seattle is going to flourish, and they need to, because again, they're down in the standings. They need to score. They need to get wins. They need to run the score up. So it all plays well into Seattle for me.
I don't see any Brink unders, but I'm tempted by him in this game. But I don't see it. I mean, it worked out last game. I just think that she's going to have her hands full defensively. So.
All right. Let's see here. Yeah, Skylar Diggins Smith assist. I didn't say that, but
5.5.
I'm playing her assist. 5.5. Yes, over. What's the and then I actually don't know if I'm playing De'Erica today. I don't think I am. I just don't think she's gonna get. I don't think anybody offensively is gonna look good in this game. I'm actually very questionable of everybody. Here we go. Skylar Diggins assists. Let's see. So a little up and down, up and down, up and down. Last game was the down. It's literally an up and down, up and down, up and down. She had 3, then she had 7. She had 4, then she had 9. She had 3, and then she had 9. She had 5, and then she had 7. She had 5 2 games in a row. She had 6 in the first game of the season. So, hey, I mean, if you play the recent trend, she's due. She's due. Due for an over on the assist. I think this is the matchup for her too. Give me over Skylar Diggins 5.5 assist.
I think I just like Jewel Lloyd points. Going through the last couple games for Lloyd, I know you're not going to oppose because you're a big fan of her anyway. She has had at least 22 points in 3 of the last 4, 25 points in the last 2 games, and head-to-head, she's had at least 25 points in 4 straight against the Sparks. You can get her at 24.5. The over's plus 162.
Yep.
So
no quarrels from me. Good with that there. All right. Before we get to the next game, let's gotta talk about Rhythm. Rhythm is, hey, you gotta try their WNBA product. It makes it so much easy to play the W, and make sure you go check out the recent episode in NBA Finals Game 3 of the Sports Gambling Podcast. They did have the chief marketing officer of Rhythm come on and talk about the product a little bit more. It was a really, really good couple of minutes in the beginning of the episode that you need to check out. And he just reaffirmed to me how much I love Rhythm and everything that they're talking about, all the opportunity you have. And guess what, Scott? Remember how we were debating back and forth that Spark Storm game? They're
Yep.
on the over 159.5, 62.5% win probability, over 159.5 for the Sparks and Storm game. And I get it.
What's the score prediction out of that?
I'm not gonna lie. Oh wow, the score prediction is 159.6.
Oh no, I meant like how many points I think the Storm are going to score and the Sparks.
Yeah, that's it. 159.6.
I meant each. I meant like if they are predicting like team total stuff. If they have.
Oh, I don't
stuff.
see
That's
team
fine.
total stuff.
Okay, that's what I was asking. It's fine.
Nah, yeah, I don't see that. All right, let's see here. What else today? They're also hey there. Hey there. They're also on the Mystics money line plus 255, 33% win probability. That's pretty good for a plus 255 dog, by the way.
Not bad.
It's pretty good. Yeah, so they're expecting a very close game. They have actually 78-82 against the Dream, so they're on the points as well. We're back in the Mystics. Shout out to Rhythm. Make sure you get that 7-day free trial by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgambling.podcast.com/RITHMM. We're also brought to you by Game Time. Make sure, hey, just like me, you can use the Game Time app. You can go and get you tickets to a WNBA game. I got my tickets in the hotel. Before I even got to the stadium, my tickets were already on hand in my phone. I could walk in seamlessly and just go hang out and watch the game and get a great experience. Oh, they got seats all over too. I was sitting right there on the floor. It was amazing. Great experience. I got to see Jewel Lloyd. That was the first time I got to see Jewel Lloyd play when I used Game Time to get those tickets at the Washington Mystics game. Make sure you use Game Time. You can use it for WNBA. You can use it for any event. Make sure you go out there, and they have this lowest price guarantee where they'll credit you 110% of the difference if they do not give you the lowest price, same row, same ticket. So make sure you download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CFBX for $20 off your first purchase. Again, create an account and you redeem code CFBX for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. All right, last game on the slate, Scott. Sadoozy. Minnesota Lynx going up against the defending champion Las Vegas Aces. Aces open up laying 9. Apparently, I never saw 9. I only saw 7, maybe a 7.5, but I only saw 7.
That's what I saw.
Apparently they were laying 9 at some point. 164 is the total now. They're currently laying 6.5 at home. Minnesota is, let's check this injury report for these two teams. And we have for the Minnesota Lynx, it looks like oh wait, I thought I saw that news. Is Dorka playing? I feel like I saw that on Underdog. Let me go back and look. She's probable. Dorka is probable for Tuesday for the Lynx. And then we have Jackie Young, who is not listed on the injury report with that illness from last game. You know, Bell and Gray are still both out. So at least they now have one point guard playing in the game. Ron, what's up? I'm on the under. Already talked about it. I'm on that under. Sparks team total under. Storm team total over. My guy. Yeet. All right. Yeah, I'm not laying 6.5.
I'm with you.
I think there's a middle though. I do think there's a middle. I think there's a middle of the Aces figuring it out and winning this game, but only winning by like 2 or 3 points.
Yeah, we need to fully discuss. We've done it before, but I'm just saying maybe just mainstream. Just talk over one more time that without Chelsea Gray, the Aces are not nearly as good as people think they are. And we've talked about it for the entire season. This team, just watching them play, even when it comes to winning games, they're not winning by a bunch of margin. Now, if we took them in like one spot against the Fever to win by 30, and they basically did because it was a great spot. But the point is, the Aces are just not flowing as we are accustomed to seeing them because they're missing the second best player. And Jackie Young has been very solid stepping up, but I think we know that Chelsea Gray is the point guard for a reason, and they need her. So I'm not a big Plum person. I've mentioned that before. I think that Asia's phenomenal. She's the best player in the league. But I feel like people are still pricing the Aces as if they're currently in back-to-back title defense and they are head and shoulders above everybody else. And they're just really not, at least right now. When she comes back, we can reevaluate. But right now, they're just not the best team in the league, or you could argue that they're not by far the best team in the league. And I feel like they're still being priced if they are. So I'm not going to see much value on the Aces for the near future because watching them play for the first month or so, they are overvalued in so many of their games.
Yeah, and Luis, I mean, as much as I love Nafis Collier, and I think Nafis Collier is an MVP candidate,
Minnesota?
I can't support anybody other than Asia winning MVP at this point. Like, I really, honestly, truly, if you were to tell me that her line for MVP was set at minus 250, I wouldn't think you were crazy.
It's 175, but you could argue it should be 2-1 already. I already got down on it earlier. I know we both did preseason, but I think AT's got a shot if Connecticut ends up going like
I don't know,
30,
man.
If Connecticut goes like 32
walking
and
into
8,
30-point games, bro.
Oh no, the stats are going to favor Asia every time. I'm saying if Connecticut ends up going like 32 and 8, or maybe if Minnesota goes 32 and 8, like they need an insane number 1 seed, best record in the league, and they need to put up big numbers. That's the only
32
shot.
and 8 doesn't even feel good enough. Bro.
And she got snubbed last year.
28 and 12 in 40 minutes is insane. First of all, 28 and 12 in 48 minutes is insane.
Yeah.
If an NBA player was averaging 28 and 12, you're like, oh, whoa, oh shit. Like, what? Like, this is otherworldly. Like,
if we're using 40 minutes as the sample size, she's putting up Zach Edey numbers. That's basically where we're at this point in the season. But I think Asia's going to win it. It also helps narrative-wise that she did not win it last year, and people think she should. We think AT should have, but we thought that it was basically a 2-horse race, and Brianna got it. So narrative-wise, I think Asia's just going to get it. But I think if you wanted to make a case for Collier, I think that no matter how good her numbers are, they're not going to give it to her. Just personally. I think it's a makeup award, worst-case scenario, and Asia's deserving, obviously. So
they stepped up. They need, like, Minnesota just catches them in a bad. They just catch the Aces in a bad spot every time. Like, that's ultimately what it is.
They killed the Storm. That was a destruction. And I know we like the under in that game, but the Lynx were great throughout the entirety of that game. So I want to give them props there.
Yeah, they're a good team. I mean, they constantly catch this Aces team in a bad spot. And at the end of the day, if I think this game is coming down to the last few possessions, I'm taking Asia Wilson over anybody. So I think that they do cover this line. I think they cover the 6.5, but I just think at the end of the day, the Aces end up getting the win. And really, it's going to be who has the ball last. I think this is going to be a war and a battle. And this is really a litmus test for this Lynx team of saying, hey, man, we've having this great season. We're looking this good. We have to beat this Aces team. So I want to be on that part of the point. So give me the 6.5 with the Lynx. I don't think they get the win, though. I actually think the Aces still get the win. But the Lynx are going to go hard because, again, this is their opportunity in the Commissioner's Cup. They have to win this game to keep themselves alive. If they lose, they are effectively out.
Yeah, and I do want to point out that the Aces did beat the Lynx on the 29th in Minnesota by 14. Low-scoring game. That game did fly under, landed 146. So I don't mind the under in this game, but I do think that Minnesota will look a lot better in a revenge angle potentially, but it's mostly just the Aces not looking as good as advertised, and I feel like the odds makers, even if the Aces cover, based on what I've seen from these two teams this season, yes, I know Jackie's back. I get it. The Aces laying 6.5 against this Minnesota team, from what we've seen this season, the line's too high. You agree with that?
Yeah, but what I will say is that in that first game, they didn't have Tiffany Hayes. They didn't have Tiffany Hayes. And so now you add another bench piece. Kate Martin coming off the bench with Tiffany Hayes that adds, 2 additional scorers that you do like. I think it's going to be interesting. I think this is going to be a good game. And that's why I'm also saying, like, and I'm curious, where are the Aces at championship wise? I'm curious on where their championship size are at. Are they in the 2-1 range? Yeah.
Aces are even money.
Even
money? Yeah, they're still even
Jesus Christ. Oh.
Well, the argument is, if you're expecting Gray to come back, then it makes sense. But
I know.
From what I've seen this year,
at some point, at some point, I thought they were going to give us 2-1. That's what I'm just waiting for at the point in the year where they get to 2-1 and we catch them for 2-1 to win the ship. Because I truly, when Chelsea Gray comes back, I have no idea. Like that gives you Clark, Martin, and Hayes off the bench. I have no idea how you're supposed to compete with that team.
Yeah, they're going to win if she comes back, simply put. They have too many options. But I don't ask you, assuming in a worst-case scenario that point guard does not come back, would you pick the Aces to win the title? I don't think I would. I don't trust them enough.
I would still... I think I would still pick them, but I think that it's not a foregone conclusion. If she comes back, I think it's a foregone conclusion that they're going to three-peat. But if she doesn't come back, then I think the door is open for Seattle. I think the door is open. If Seattle or Connecticut runs into them before a WNBA Finals run, I think they can get them in a semifinal game. So that's going to be the real question of. But point guard's coming back. Like they just put her on the Olympic team. I think that very much confirmed for me that she's going to be back pretty well soon. Before the Olympic break. Yeah, like pretty well before the Olympic break.
I do want to point out though that with point guard being out, a big reason why the Aces are 5-4, it goes back to my criticism of Plum. I don't think she's been very good this year, and I feel like I got to at least mention the numbers. She's averaging 19.3 points per game, which is fine for her standards, but without Gray, you'd assume it'd be higher. 4.9 assists, which is okay, I guess.
Come on, 19 is 19.
Oh, well, just hear me out here for a second. 19 is 19, but then you get to the shooting numbers, efficiency-wise. Do you want to guess her percentage from the floor?
She's averaging 38.
She's shooting 36% from the floor.
Okay.
Do you want to guess her percentage from 3?
Can't be good if she's 36% from the floor.
It's 34.9. She's a career 43% shooter and 39.3% shooter from 3. She's down roughly 7% from the floor and roughly 4% from 3. So Plum has been not very good.
She has to handle the ball more. Like that's
my point.
That's what Chelsea Gray opens everything. Yeah, like Chelsea Gray opens everything up for everybody else. Like, and the fact that's why I'm like, dang, she's still at. I didn't even know she was at 19. Like that's insane. That's insane. That just means
the volume's enough. The efficiency is not there. So that's kind of my point.
She's at 19. Jackie's at 18. Like, and you still don't have point guard get there. Like that's crazy. This team is. There's no way they're not winning. There's no way they're not winning. If Hayes gives you double digits off the bench, like there's no way they're not winning.
That's kind of the wild part, by the way. She just came right off the street and was just like, "Oh, I'm gonna get mine," and we're like, "Wait, you can actually just come out and
double 11, already bringing 11. I'm already averaging 11. Like she's so good. She's so good. She's gonna give. When we get to that playoff series, she's gonna give a 25 piece off the bench. Just wait. She's gonna cash a 25 piece off the bench. I'm ready for it. All right, back to this game. We are both on the links.
I like the under in the game, though.
I like the under.
I mean, the first meeting was a rock fight. So
I like the over. I like the over because I think that the Aces defense still has some things it needs to work out, and Beckingham has to figure it out. But I think the Aces could score, and they proved it last game, scoring 80. I think they can get around there again. So I'll take the over 164.5, actually.
Okay.
Player props. Jackie Young. Where's your assist prop? What is that listed at today, Jackie?
She had 10, by the way, in the first meeting this season.
Yep. And like I said, I just think that this is just a tough matchup. Like it's just too many. It's too many people to guard. Like I think for Minnesota, it's just too many people to guard, and it's so many options. And Tiffany Hayes isn't making it any better. I think they're going to be able to score.
For assists.
6.5. I would take that over 6.5 assists for Jackie Young. She's been very, very good with. Very, very good with the playmaking this year.
I like Collier under 32.5 points and rebounds. She's been good recently. She ended up going over against Seattle at 33, at 32 against Phoenix, 34 against the Sparks, and 38 against Dallas. But you're looking at her head-to-head numbers against the Aces, and she's been horrible against the Aces with this number. She's had a less than 32 in 5 straight against the Aces. And we know Asia's a great defensive player. I think Collier might have some trouble. In the first meeting of the season, she had 18 and 13, a solid overall performance, but not 32.5. I'll go with the under on points and rebounds for Collier.
Yeah, Asia Wilson's at 27.5, and honestly, truly, I don't know why you're playing in my face like this.
She had 29 in the first game this season.
Here's Asia's season this bar: 30, 22, 21, 29, 29, 28, 36, 29, 31. She has had 14 straight regular season games of 20 plus points. That is a WNBA record. And if I'm guaranteed 20, you're telling me, oh, wait, I need another 8. I mean, come on. Like she's not coming out of the game. This
No.
this is all the W's fault. Honestly, this is all the media. No, not even the W. This is the media's fault. This is all the media's fault. Truly, what you're seeing right now, this level of greatness from her is all the media's fault because they snubbed her last year. They snubbed her of that MVP. And I mean, granted, we thought that it was Alyssa Thomas. And
What
if it
did she
was
get
Alyssa
again?
Thomas,
She got third?
she
Asia was
yes.
third, right? Okay. I think
Was she
AT was
third? I
second.
think she was. I think I gotta go back and check.
It was very,
Because I
very
know
close.
AT had the most first place votes, but I feel like those second place votes did something. But
I
either
think
way,
AT got second. But
she
it
got a
doesn't matter.
fourth place vote. I'll tell you that. She got a fourth place vote.
Yeah.
Somebody picked Chelsea Gray as a better player than Asia Wilson. I'm telling you right now, this is all their fault. And we're just gonna continue to reap the benefits. I mean, you've gone over in 7 of 9 this season. Why do you even consider that you're not going over? Just play Asia Wilson again. Just play Asia Wilson again. Like, come on. And they're not gonna move it up too far because they think that 27.5 is already absurd to have the line. Like they already think that's an absurd line to set. And it's not. She can walk into 30 every single game. It doesn't matter whether you're a good defense, whether you're a bad defense. She can walk into 30. This Asia Wilson.
I do want to ask you about one other player, though, for Minnesota that's been really good lately, but has been really bad historically against the Aces. I got to ask you about McBride. Last 2 games, 57 points. I have to ask you about the points at either 16.5. Threes are at 3.5 now at plus 130. She's had 5 plus threes in 3 of the last 4, 7 plus threes in back-to-back games. But against the Aces, she has gone under this number in 4 straight. And against the Aces, she has scored less. Her number's at 16.5. She has scored less than 12 points in 4 straight against the Aces. Do you want to back McBride's current form or assume she regresses against the Aces?
Bro, I don't know what regression.
Kind of killed them.
Like, what regression is she gonna like at some point? And you know my past with Caleb McBride because you never know what game you're gonna get from her. You really don't sometimes. Bro, she's been so good this year. Like, how do you not back her? She's here are the numbers. And I mean, we could talk about the shooting, and she's been lights out from 3, 7, 8 in the last 2 games. She had 5 against Dallas, 6 against Atlanta, 4 and 4 against New York and Seattle. The point she's been like it's pure hooping at this point. Like it's just literally pure hooping of what Caleb McBride is doing. And it's like we've always seen that. Like she's always had that level, but we're like, dang, like it's been up, down, up, down, up, down. Never know if Caleb's been hot, Caleb's been cold. But even in the games where she hasn't scored as much, she's still been pretty consistent. Like I just can't see myself fading Caleb McBride right now. I would need after a break, maybe after an all-star break or the Olympic break, maybe. But right now, she's just in too good of form for me, and I don't want to play any parts of that.
Do you know which team is currently tied with the Fever for the worst 3-point defense?
I'm assuming it's one of these 2 teams, so I'm going to go with the Aces.
That is correct. 37.7%. That's nuts. They're an insanely bad 3-point defense this season. And I mentioned before, Rakia had 16 last game as a forward. She only went 1 of 4 from 3. But McDonald off the bench at 16. She was 2 of 3 from 3. Brown had a couple of 3-pointers as well. Sparks went 10 of 25 from 3. So, yeah, I think I am going to go with McBride over for potentially threes in this game, plus 130. Once again, the Aces are tied for the worst 3-point defense in the league. And we have a decent sample size up to this point. So, yeah. I don't mind it.
I wonder if there's a Nafisa Collier alt 1.5 threes prop out there.
I can check. Give me a second.
Yeah, it's plus 205. I would play that. She's hit 1. She's hit 1 in like majority of her games.
She's at 2 in back-to-back. Went 2 of 4 last game, 2 of 2 the game prior. But once again, the Aces are, and she had 2 in 2 of the last 3 games against the Aces. So that could be worth a look.
What? I'm about to play this. It might be dog. It might be in dog territory. We'll have to see. All right. Let's see here, Scott. Anything else?
No, I think we covered it.
All right. What's on? Let's talk about the Wednesday game. We only got one game on Wednesday. Let's go ahead and talk about that one really quick before we get up
Okay.
out of here. The Connecticut Sun on the road going to play Chicago Sky. Sun are laying 7.5 here. 153.5 is the total. Don't have an injury report because Connecticut Sun played earlier today, but
What do you
for
say the
the
total was?
Chicago Sky, it's at 153.5.
Okay.
And for the Sky, Elizabeth Williams went through knee surgery. She's going to be out for the rest of the year. They've already announced that Cardosa is going into the starting lineup. So we're now going to see Reese and Cardosa in the starting lineup. You'll have Brianna Turner playing some minutes behind them, Izzy Harrison playing some minutes behind them. But that's where it is. And we'll see how long that goes on. I just can't imagine if Isabel Harrison gets back into Isabel Harrison form. I can't imagine her staying on the bench. I really can't.
Mm.
But I will say she does look like somebody that has missed some time with injury. So still really good. And she's starting to pick it up a little bit late. But I can't imagine that lineup stays like that if Isabel Harrison wakes up and plays like how she was playing in Dallas. Absolutely not. All right. Now, are you laying 7.5 with the Sun here?
I think I am. Like I feel like the Sky are
think I
still a
am too.
team that we understand what they are. You know, they're not a bottom feeder like their win total projected, but I still don't think they are a great team by any means. They're 1-4 at home. They have lost 3 of their last 4. So they have not been in great form recently. The Sun ended up winning. We saw them bury the Fever. They ended up losing to the Liberty, but before that, they were undefeated. They're also 3-0 on the road. And you're looking at the Sky once again being 1-4 at home. I just think even though the first game was competitive, the Sun did beat the Sky 86-82 in the first meeting this season. I do want to quickly pull up the actual shooting numbers for these teams out of curiosity. But the Sun killed them on the glass in the first game. They ended up out rebounding the Sky 38-21, which I think is a serious problem for the Sky. Now, I know Angel Reese has gotten better in this area. Maybe Cardoso can help. I also mentioned a couple episodes ago the Sky are allowing the most opponent rebounds per game. So if I think Connecticut's going to bury them on the boards, because Connecticut, I think, is allowing the fewest rebounds per game. And I think at the end of the day, you're looking at a spot where Alyssa Thomas did get ejected in that last game, which might have impacted the margin to some degree. I'm going to go with the Sun here because I just think rebounding wise, they're going to do very well. And I do question if Cardoso's ready to fully enter the starting lineup with Reese. That might be a transition period. That might take some time to get adjusted to it. We've seen it so far this season. I think you'd agree that duo has been a work in progress. Let's put it that way. It has not looked that fluid with them out together. And now they're going to play more minutes. They might have to learn it on the fly. Give me the Sun. I think the better team.
I just think that this is a moment where everybody's going to realize how important E-Will is to this team and that the Chicago Sky are going to have a really, really, really big fucking decision to make this offseason when they have to only pick 6 of these players. By the way, the Aces have a really, really big fucking decision to make as well. But they only can pick 6 of these players. And so it's like somebody has to be the odd person out. And Elizabeth Williams, what she adds defensively, cannot. I don't think it gets talked about enough because you hear, Reese Cardosa and all this other stuff. But like, I mean, I don't think that. I think that it's gonna show. I think that's gonna show because not only just her anchoring the paint, but her leadership on defense and making sure everybody's set as well, and that vet presence that they have that's just not on the court anymore. And so it's gonna be really, really young on the court for them, especially in the front court. And so I think that's gonna get challenged by Alyssa Thomas, by DeWanna Bonner, by Brianna Jones, and it's gonna be some growing pains. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm laid at 7.5 here. And give me Sun team total over. I think they're going to be able to score. Like I just think that defensive presence on the inside is going to make a lot for a lot more easy baskets.
I agree.
All right,
So
let's see here.
walking dog.
Yeah, because I don't have any props.
We're not going
All
to
right,
get anything for props.
let me see here. For my lock, under Asia, Seattle.
Jackie assists
Under
in
Asia,
theory.
Seattle. No, I don't feel good as good about Jackie assists as I do Asia.
Okay.
Under Asia, Seattle. Well, for one, let's do a little parlay of Seattle laying 11, that under in the Dream and Mystics game, and Asia Wilson over on points. That parlay is going to pay
It's gonna be a massive one.
5 plus 580. So,
Okay.
yeah, 100% play that. That's a good play. But for my lock, going to go with, or should I make Seattle the dog and make an alt line of Seattle as the dog? Ooh, that feels like a good idea. Or no. This is how I do this. Seattle, lane 11. That's my lock. I'm just going to go back to it. I trust the team way too much. I think offensively, they're going to absolutely dominate this game. And I don't think the Spot's going to have anything for them on the other end of the ball and being able to score on their own right. I think this is going to be an ugly game. This could be a 20-plus point win for Seattle. Seattle laying 11. For my dog, I didn't do it last time. I'm going to do it this time. Washington, plus 184 in the first half. What? Brittany Sykes and Shakira Austin are back. This is going to be new life with Aaliyah Edwards, who people don't want to admit she's the same. She is the most, not same, the most pro-ready rookie, I think, in the fact of being able to handle the physicality of the position that she plays. I think she's the most pro-ready.
Well, she was my sleeper pick for Rookie of the Year. If we were ignoring Caitlin from the market, I did say I would pick Edwards out of anybody. And
yep,
she's not going to win. It's going to go to Caitlin, but she looks good. Yeah.
She look well. Hold on, it's still room for anything to happen this year. So let's not.
There's room. She's minus 850, but there's room.
Injuries. There's room. There's room for anything to happen, and that's literally the only thing that it could be. Like it could only be an injury. But here we are. Yeah, Mystics first half plus 184 because we're gonna continue to play that. So that's my dog. And for the lock, Seattle minus 11.
Okay. For my lock, I think I am going to go with the last game we talked about. I'm going to go with the Sun. I found 7. I'll take the 7 there. I'll lay it with the Sun. I think at the end of the day, even though the first meeting was close, I just think it was a weird game where AT only played 23 minutes and they kind of got off to a slow start. Then they woke up in the second half. I think at the end of the day, you're looking at the Sky, who really got clamped in the second half of that game. They scored 50 points in the first half, and they only finished with 82. They scored 32 points in the second half. I think that the Sun are going to have much better effort for this game defensively. I think AT is going to play more than 23 minutes, assuming she doesn't get ejected again. And I do think, as you mentioned before, injuries are a big deal. And I don't know if Cardoso is fully ready to be inserted into the starting lineup. But in that first game, the Sun out-rebounded the Sky 38-21. And Angel only had 5 rebounds in 33 minutes. I think that the Sun are built pretty well to beat the Sky team. And you mentioned the injuries. I think it's a big deal for Chicago. That is not being talked about enough as far as I'm concerned. But the Sun lost 1 game to the Liberty. The Liberty owned them. It is what it is. They bounced back against a Fever team, beat the crap out of them, and I think they'll be able to win this game by at least 8. So give me the Sun minus 7 as my lock. For my dog, I am going to go with an alt points number on Jewel Lloyd. Give me the over 24.5 at plus 162. She's had 25 points in back-to-back games against the Sparks. She's had 25 plus points in 4 straight against the Sparks. And you mentioned before that they're off a loss. It's a good spot for them to run the score up on this team. Maybe they get to 100, but I do think Jewel Lloyd has started to find her shooting stroke again. And I think her point number is a bit low for this game at 21.5. Give me Jewel Lloyd over 24.5 at plus 162.
All right. Scott, anything else? No, I don't know. Let's see here. We can make an underdog lineup. I'm just going to go ahead and throw Asia Wilson in there. Sorry.
Okay. Do you want points or points and rebounds?
Points.
Okay.
So 7.5. I mean, it can be points and rebounds. I don't have an issue with that. Set 39.5. I really don't have an issue with that at all. But I'll take.
We'll just go points. It's fine.
Where is, we'll take Jewel Lloyd, higher 21.5. And I feel like we got to play Neck in the revenge game.
Okay. I was either going to be that or maybe Edwards for rebounds, but it's up to you.
NECA PRA has been really, really good to me this year. I say we take her PRA.
Sure, let's do it.
NECA 27.5. And this is when, I like it when the line drops and then we play because people have been taking the lower. Market tries to play catch up and it doesn't. So now it's normally at 28.5. It's at 27.5 now. So there we go. There's your underdog lineup. We're going to go Asia Wilson higher, 27.5 points. We got Jewel Lloyd higher, 21.5 points. And we have Nneka Ogwumike higher, 27.5 points, rebounds, and assists in the revenge game against the Sparks at an underdog, and $100 underdog entry will pay you out $600. Make sure you use that promo code NBA SGPN. And please use the promo code. Go sign up. Go sign up. If you support us, if you have been sailing the heater that we are on, then please go use that promo code and sign up for Underdog Fantasy NBA SGPN. That is NBA SGPN at underdogfantasy.com. Scott, anything else for people before we get up out of here?
No, looking forward to the games tomorrow and the games on, or I should say the games on Tuesday and Wednesday. But no, we'll back later in the week.
All right. Appreciate everybody who stayed up with us at 12 to catch some of these picks. And best of luck to you. Make sure that you go ahead and like the video on the way out. Please make sure you drop a like for the video. And for those who are here late, then please make sure you go out and like the video. Drop a comment as well. And wherever you get your podcast, make sure you give us a 5-star rating and review. ML, before we get up out of here, asked about Alyssa Thomas over rebounds in that game. I mean, it's gonna be a battle.
I have to be in for it. I don't think the Sky are going to be able to match them on the inside. So yeah, I like AT.
Yeah, I think it's going to be enough rebounds to go along too. So, all right, appreciate everybody. I have nothing else to say, nothing else to do. No other way of ending the podcast. Just ending it like this. We are out of here.